In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Welcome to Opinion Nation.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal, that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
Now here's your host, Bryce Robbins.
Ricky Robinson. This is America Off the Rails.
Okay, folks. I have to apologize.
Yes, this is not Rowdy Ricky Robinson, obviously. I'm Bryce Robbins, and this is Opinion Nation, and today we have a lot to talk about. So, I've actually been planning that Steve Harvey joke forever, but I've not been able to do it because I've been so inconsistent. So, finally, I got to give off my Steve Harvey joke. So today what we're going to be talking about is Hillary Clinton as our main topic of discussion. And obviously I think that anybody who knows me and has been listening to this show for a long time knows that the sign in front of my house says Bernie Sanders. The stickers on the back of my computer say Bernie Sanders. The cardboard cutout that is life-size in my sister's room, which my friend got me for the holidays, is of Bernie Sanders. The poster in my room says Bernie Sanders. So the button, actually, in my drawer here says Bernie Sanders Revolution. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. No, I'm obviously going to be voting for Bernie Sanders when he gets into the general election. So the topic of discussion today is Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton is having a very, very bad week. I mean, geez Louise. She now, and listen to this very carefully, okay? She is falling quicker than when she ran in 2008 against Barack Obama. Her poll numbers are tanking, okay? I want everybody right now to go over to, I think it's Clear Politics, and just look up Democratic national polls, okay? I'm actually doing it right now. I've been checking them every day. you go and look at the poll numbers right now. These actually haven't even been updated, but the closest thing that I've seen was 47-40, I believe it was from the New York Times. Actually I was wrong. It was 48-41, New York Times. There was 43-39, and there was 48.3 to 39.7 is the national average. So what are we seeing here? We saw Hillary Clinton start her campaign at 60%. She, in a matter of months, went down to 49%. In a matter of months, she went down to 40%. She climbed her way back, but so did Bernie. Okay? Their polls are inverse. They copy each other, and then this week happened. The Clinton campaign is saying that, they're not feeling any pain. They're not nervous. But they are getting nervous. They are getting worried. And they are going to start running. So let me play a clip. So when Hillary Clinton feels that she is frightened and nervous, she starts to attack ridiculous things about Bernie. Because Bernie Sanders is... What do you attack about this man? He's the most genuine man in all of Washington, D.C. He doesn't lie, and no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you can't disagree with that fact. Bernie Sanders is not a liar. He's not a real politician. He's a man of the people. So when Hillary Clinton feels as though something is not going her way, she says, he's a friend of the gun lobby. So I'm just going to let you listen to this clip. It's from MSNBC. You're going to listen to Bernie Sanders' response to a NRA remark by Hillary Clinton. Here we go.
Start off by saying that Secretary Clinton is really quite inaccurate on both of those charges. I have a D- with the voting record from the NRA.
Correct.
In 1988, I probably lost the congressional election because I said maybe we should not have assault weapons being sold in America. So to say that I'm kind of a supporter of the NRA is really a mean-spirited and unfair and inaccurate statement.
Okay. So what he's responding to there is Hillary Clinton saying that Bernie Sanders has been a reliable vote for the NRA. Now, regardless of that, is irrelevant. Whether Bernie Sanders has or has not, the fact of the matter is she's making a direct attack at him. He didn't even do that to her. Okay, you note that? Keep that in mind, everybody. Bernie Sanders has stuck to his principle, do not make a negative ad. Okay? And he has stuck to it. I'm going to play a Bernie Sanders ad in a couple minutes, and you're going to tell me if you thought that was negative. But he has not said anything negative about her. He's run his campaign based off who he is. And she said that he's been a reliable vote for the gun lobby. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Hillary Clinton is weak. That she is a weak person. That when she feels insecure, she is a bully, and she's mean, and she's a nasty human being, and she just went after somebody who didn't even do anything to her other than do what the American political system is supposed to be based around. The people's opinions, populism. And what he's saying is popular. What he's saying is well received and well liked in the Democratic Party. So, we really have to ask ourselves, is Hillary Clinton in trouble? Is this the end of Clinton's campaign? And what are we going to see during this Democratic debate? Now, something amazing about this Democratic debate coming up is, of course, the chairman of the Democratic Committee, Debbie Wasserman Schultz from Florida. An ugly human being. But besides that, she is rigging this debate system, and I don't like it. We have 2 NFL football games, Downton Abbey, which, so that means my aunt is not going to watch it. Football lovers of all over the country are not going to watch it. And they're voice of Bernie and Hillary, and the other guy, Martin O'Malley, who I really want to dedicate an episode to, but I'm kind of mad at that campaign because I've been calling and asking for an interview for months, and every time I get through to his coordinator, he says, we'll call you when something frees up, but he has not, so he's not got my vote. You don't treat people like that, right? You can at least tell him yes or no. anyways, but to the point about Bernie Sanders is that what we're seeing here is his voice is getting shut down because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, mind you, used to work for the Hillary Clinton campaign. And if you don't see a conflict of interest there, well, I don't know. All right. So next I'm going to play Bernie Sanders ad. And this Hillary Clinton got all up in arms about, saying, this is mean-spirited as well. This is negative as well. And before I play it, though, that kind of just reminded me about the fact that Bernie Sanders uses the word, that was mean-spirited, if you remember hearing it. Just how he reacted is amazing, right? We hear Donald Trump, when someone says something about him, he goes, oh, you're stupid, you're ridiculous and stupid, and you're a dumbass. Bernie Sanders says, no, that's just mean, okay? And that's not true. And then he proved her wrong with facts. So, I mean, whether you like Bernie or not, give him the legitimacy of the fact that he is a upstanding man. He is just a man who's devoted to his country, a dedicated human being, and he's a decent human being overall. And I like that he's a decent guy. And a lot of these other guys who are running on the Republican ticket, I'm sure they're nice, but they don't seem to be too genuine. And Hillary Clinton is the worst of them all. So here's Bernie's quote-unquote attack ad. Let's play it.
There are two Democratic visions for regulating Wall Street. One says it's okay to take millions from big banks and then tell them what to do. My plan, break up the big banks, close the tax loopholes, and make them pay their fair share. Then we can expand health care to all and provide universal college education. Will they like me? No. Will they begin to play by the rules if I'm president? You better believe it. I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
All right, so I just want to go back and play this one quick clip from this here.
For regulating Wall Street. One says it's okay to take millions from big banks and then tell them what to do.
Okay, right there. One says it's okay to take millions of dollars from the big banks and then tell them what to do. That is the part that Hillary Clinton's been all up in arms about. But is that not true? Go look up right now Hillary Clinton's biggest campaign donors. They're all big banks. They're all, Citibank, Citigroup, whatever, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs. It's true. You know who Bernie Sanders' biggest funders are? Lobbying groups and the people. And that's what we need to keep in mind, is that he is a man of the people. So I want you to keep that one in mind. I want you to keep that in mind indefinitely, that Bernie Sanders is a man of the people and Hillary Clinton is a man, or excuse me, I mean, she could be, you never know, but is a person, a woman of money. And she's not going to change that. So, I got to be honest here. I really don't think that it is wise that we vote for Hillary Clinton. So next topic about Hillary, and then after this we're going to go to break, is Hillary Clinton going off about Bernie Sanders' desire for universal health care. Now look, my views on universal health care are simple. I used to intern at a senator's office in New York, and they had a hearing on universal health care, and I saw the statistics, and it is far cheaper, far more inclusive, and ultimately people get better care. Okay, look, we can argue the merits of it and say you'll be waiting for hours and hours. I'm not saying it's a perfect system. I don't know really if that's true, or maybe if that's just mismanagement, but in many areas where it is practiced, it is run well. Okay, it works, it's cheaper, it's better. Now, Obamacare is not working. Yes, we have job growth during the time period where we've seen Obamacare implemented. But one thing we have to keep in mind here, folks, and this is another topic I want to talk about on a whole segment on. Obama always touts about how we've had the greatest job creation for the past 17 months or whatever, or however long. No, the reason we have the biggest job growth is because, every American has to go get 3 jobs to support his family because wages aren't rising. It's not that we're adding more jobs, it's people are getting more jobs to live the same life. All right, but anyways, I digress. Hillary Clinton on universal health care in 2008, and then how her daughter so kindly decided to attack Bernie. So here first, we're going to hear from Hillary.
Time and time again, you hear one thing in speeches, and then you see a campaign that has the worst kind of tactics, reminiscent of the same sort of Republican attacks on Democrats. Well, I am here to say that it is not only wrong, but it is undermining core democratic principles. Since when do Democrats attack one another on universal health care? I thought we were trying to realize Harry Truman's dream. I thought this campaign finally gave us an opportunity to put together a coalition to achieve universal health care. That's what Senator Edwards and I fought for and talked about throughout the campaign. Just because Senator Obama chose not to present a universal health care plan does not give him the right to attack me because I did. So let's have a real campaign. Enough with the speeches and the big rallies and then using tactics that are right out of Karl Rove's playbook. This is wrong, and every Democrat should be outraged because this is the kind of attack that not only undermines core democratic values, but gives aid and comfort to the very special interests and their allies in the Republican Party who are against doing what we want to do for America. So shame on you, Barack Obama. It is time you ran a campaign consistent with your messages in public. That's what I expect from you. Meet me in Ohio. Let's have a debate about your tactics and your behavior in this campaign.
So we can all recall that Obama wanted single-payer health care, but ended up settling for universal health insurance. Big difference there. The difference between health care and health insurance. But what did we just hear from Hillary Clinton? That she wants universal health care, that she, was upset with Obama because he wanted health insurance. And we hear Bernie Sanders always touting about universal health care, just like Hillary seemed to be an avid supporter of. But the fact of the matter is she just sent her daughter out to go run an attack on Bernie Sanders for wanting universal health care, saying he's going to destroy Obamacare and tear apart Obamacare. Look, that is such a crock of shit. Bernie Sanders says Obamacare is better than what was there, and I agree with him on that. It's better than what was, right? People can't get denied health insurance. More people are health insured. It's taking less money out of the economy, whether you like it or not. You're saving more money, right? You're not paying as much taxpayer money to healthcare expenses in the emergency room. It's $57 billion that are saved each year. But anyways, what we are seeing is she flip-flopped, okay? She went from saying, I support universal health care to, Bernie Sanders wants universal health care. And he wants to destroy Obamacare. You know what's wrong here? Is that she's taking a government program and essentially doing what Rick always says. And, one of the best things that Rick has ever said to me on air was that the government welfare programs were meant to be a safety net, not a spider's web. They weren't meant to keep you attached, held down, and, stuck down. You're supposed to get off them. Obamacare is not one of those necessarily a program like that. It expands Medicare and Medicaid, but it also gives health insurance to everybody. But in theory, if you're too poor, you get Medicare. And what Hillary Clinton is saying is very disingenuous because Medicare is universal health care. Medicare, health care, medic, health, just different words, same thing. We have, universal health care. It's not single-payer health care like Bernie Sanders exactly wants them. That's what works almost all over the world. We're the only developed nation without it. And surprise, surprise, we have a pretty laggy healthcare system. But the fact of the matter is we have that. And Hillary Clinton is saying, we're going to get rid of Obamacare. She's using words to confuse people, to get them upset, and that's what Opinionation is here for, to help you get your opinions in check. Because this is BS she's selling America on, and you know what? By her poll numbers, we can see it. So I just want to play another clip here of Hillary Clinton's flip-flops, okay, from the same-sex marriage issue to the TPP. And now let's not forget her flip-flop on healthcare. But here we go. Let's play it.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. This morning, love triumphed in the highest court in our land.
Well, that one sounded like she kept the same opinion. Let's hear hers on the Keystone Pipeline.
We're either going to be dependent on dirty oil from the Gulf or dependent on dirty oil from Canada.
Okay, so it sounds like there she supported it. So, and that was in 2010. So my only guess now would be that in 2015, where this next statement is coming up from, she's going to say that she's upset that they closed it and she wishes it would go online because we need it. So she's going to support it in her campaign, right?
I think it is imperative that we look at the Keystone Pipeline as what I believe it is, a distraction from the important work we have to do to combat climate change, and unfortunately, from my perspective, one that interferes with our ability to move forward to deal with all the other issues. Therefore, I oppose it.
Huh. What? Well, that's weird, because whatever. Let's see what else you have to say. The Trans-Pacific Partnership. Well, you supported that. I remember. Let's just hear what you had to say on that one.
We are making progress toward finalizing a far-reaching new trade agreement called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The so-called TPP will lower barriers, raise standards, and drive long-term growth across the region. Now,
so, hang on, Hillary. In 2012, you said that this was the gold standard of deals. You agreed with it, all right? You flip-flopped a couple times here. Don't tell me you're going to do it again.
Looking back on it, it doesn't have the results we thought it would have in terms of access to the markets, more exports, etc. So are you saying that as of today, this is not something you could support? What I know about it as of today, I am not in favor of what I have learned about it.
Hang on. Hold the phone. You led the trade agreement. You knew exactly what was in that trade bill, in the trade deal bill, whatever. You knew, okay? You knew exactly what was in there. And then, when you just said that, you said, from what I know about it today, you lied. You know everything that's in there. You helped write it. You helped negotiate it. You know exactly what you're arguing for there. So I'm starting to get a little pissed off here that you think you can pull a fast one on the American people. And I'm getting a little more pissed off at the American people that we're not seeing it. But you know what? The polls are switching, and I think we're starting to wake up to this BS. But let's just entertain. What else is she flip-flopping on? The Iraq War? Well, let's hear it. You supported that one because they had weapons of mass destruction. So please tell me you didn't flip-flop here too, Hillary.
Any vote that might lead to war should be hard. But I cast it with conviction. Look, I know that there have been a lot of questions about Iraq posed to candidates over the last weeks. I've made it very clear that I made a mistake, plain and simple.
You know what, though? That mistake costed this country $2 to $7 trillion, okay? And more importantly, it costed the American people 4,000 soldiers' lives, and it costed Iraqi civilians tens of thousands of lives. And worst of all those soldiers, it costed them their children yet to ever be born, their futures, in Iraq. It costed them, a future, a generation, all gone. And then today we look back and say, I wonder what the next generation of Iraqi civilians are going to think of the West and America. And I think they're going to know that you made a mistake, and that mistake costed them their grandfather's life, their father's life, their brother's life, their sister's life, whoever. And they will look back, and then they will... You're scared of Osama bin Laden? Well, imagine what it's like when millions of them are now growing up because of what your mistake was. So I gotta be honest here. I am not happy here about Hillary Clinton's flip-flops. And it's really not good. Okay, she flip-flopped on those issues. She made mistakes, and it cost people lives, money, and I think America doesn't need another Clinton in office, because the first one helped destroy our banking and our finance and our economy, and is banking himself on the fact that he made it great, but he didn't. And now we're feeling the effects of it in our economy, in our stagnant economy. And you're looking at Hillary Clinton saying how she's made all these mistakes, and why are we going to give this lady the most powerful position in the world when she doesn't even have conviction in her own decision-making? Okay? Bernie Sanders has stuck to his beliefs since day one, and we're going to get to that right when we come back from break. I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation. Your opinions, your nation. Stay right here.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
All right, guys, we're ready for our Four Seasons sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh, no. We'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh, no, wait. A family hub.
Yeah! No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
You're listening to K98Talk.com, the way Internet radio should be.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hungover from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
Back, Bryce Robbins, and this is Opinion Nation, and today we're really talking about Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. So I said that when I got back, I'd be able to give you a video clip on Bernie Sanders and his honest conviction in decision making. And here's kind of a dramatic clip, but it really gets the point across. Or we just played a clip of Hillary Clinton's flip-flops about the Iraq War, healthcare, the TPP, gay marriage. So let's hear Bernie's side, and then let's see who should be president.
When people in Wisconsin, Vermont, and all over this country create a political movement which says to the billionaire class, you can't have it all.
Earlier today, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders officially announced... Se trata del senador independiente Bernie Sanders. Pretty incredible stuff.
Howard, why are you chuckling?
Because I've seen this for 40 years.
What?
People underestimate him.
That's right.
He has an incredibly powerful message.
In 1996, Sanders was among 67 U.S. House members to vote against the Defense of Marriage Act.
I asked the kids, I said, raise your hand. Tell me what you think about gay marriage. And kids kind of shrugged their shoulders. They said, what are you talking about? What is the big deal? Which is exactly what we've always wanted in the first place. What is the big deal?
As somebody who's been involved in the civil rights movement for my entire adult life, I was arrested when I was a student protesting segregation of schools in Chicago, fought against segregated housing in Chicago, marched with Martin Luther King Jr. in the Great March on Washington. I have a long history in fighting for civil rights.
Now, you've been talking about this for the last 40 years. She says she takes a back seat to no one when it comes to progressive values. What's your reaction, Senator?
Well, I'll let the people decide on that one out.
We've all become so accustomed to stage-managed, focus group-driven candidates that authenticity comes across as lunacy.
I think there's a massive amount of anger and discontent. I think it is people are saying, how come we are living in the richest country in the history of the world? Our kids can't go to college. We don't have child care for our kids. We don't have any jobs.
We tried to serve the people.
Will you be supporting Bernie Sanders this time?
Well, I love Brother Bernie. He tells the truth about Wall Street.
I think he's for the common man, and the common man is important to me because I'm one of them.
I voted against the war in Iraq. How does it happen? That we have more technology and increased productivity, and people are working longer hours for low wages, and we have more people living in poverty than almost any time in the history of America. How does that happen?
Almost all of the new income and all the new wealth is going to the top 1%, 99% of all new income. In terms of wealth, the distribution of wealth is absolutely obscene. The top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. I am prepared to take on the billionaire class.
If a financial institution is too big to fail, that financial institution is too big to exist.
Combating 51% African-American youth unemployment. Talking about the need that public colleges and universities should be tuition-free. Raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
I can hear the Republican attack ad right now. He wants America to look more like Scandinavia.
That's right. And what's wrong with that? In those countries, healthcare is a right of all people. In those countries, college education, graduate school is free. In those countries, retirement benefits, childcare are stronger than in the United States of America. And in those countries, by and large, government works for ordinary people in the middle class rather than, as is the case right now in our country, for the billionaire.
I feel like there's this idea that America should have to frame us as we do everything perfectly. Is it dangerous?
I think we've got to be honest. There are a lot of things that we do very, very well. But there are things that we do not do particularly well. Climate change is caused by human activity. Climate change is already causing devastating problems in the United States and around the world. And if we do not get our act together by significantly reducing carbon and methane emissions, that situation will only get worse. Look, you are raising a profound question, and maybe it's the most important issue. And what the issue is about is whether any candidate who is not beholden to the billionaire class and corporate interest can, in fact, run a campaign that represents the needs of the middle class and working families. And you know what? Maybe it's over with. Maybe it can't happen. Maybe we have moved so far to an oligarchic form of society where big money has so much power that there may not be candidates who can win elections because of the power of big money. But, just I tell you, I'm going to do my best to see that that is not true.
Boom. And if you're not going to realize that his viewpoints, that his ideals have remained consistent throughout his political career, then you don't listen to this show properly. Then you don't listen to the news, and you don't see Bernie Sanders at all. You just don't listen. And the fact of the matter is, Bernie Sanders is a man who, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with his viewpoints or not, is a man who has, well, he is, the same points of view. He has fought for the same points of view. And to be quite honest, I think that is something that is amazing. So with that, I'm going to stop talking about Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton for a couple minutes. And I want to move on to Donald Trump and to Ted Cruz. But before that, I'm just going to bring up some quick topics. The U.S. has declared that the 6 prisoners that the United States has freed its 4 prisoners in Iran in exchange for 6 prisoners. The U.S. has freed 6 prisoners in exchange with Iran. We are weak. 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 First of all, we gave up 6 prisoners and got back 4 prisoners. Okay? We gave up 6, got back 4. I give you $6. Let's say we're breaking change for a 10. I give you a 10. I'm supposed to get back 10. Not 9. Not you keep 6, I get 4. If I owe you, or if you owe me $10, you don't give me $6. If I owe you $4, I'm not going to give you $6. Do you get the point here? 6 doesn't equal 4. Let's set 6x equal to 4. Take the 6, divide by 6. Get x by itself. Now we have 4 over 6. Divide by 2. Let's simplify, okay? And what are we going to get? We're going to get 2 over 3. 2/3. Okay? That's math, all right? 6 doesn't equal 4. And you know what? While we got Americans back home, and while that should have happened a long, long time ago, the fact that we negotiated this by giving up our own prisoners of them is ridiculous. You know what disgusts me? Is that Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism, okay? And on my last show, I said it's good that we made, maybe it'll be a good sign that we made that deal because they gave up their nuclear enriched uranium to Russia. But here's my problem. And while I always say there's a bright side, maybe, when capitalism rushes into Iran, they will finally change. There's just something fundamentally wrong. There's just something fundamentally wrong when the government gives up 6 prisoners for 4 prisoners. When you see American soldiers with their hands on their heads on an Iranian ship, we are supposed to be making deals and negotiations. If there's an American warship in your land, you don't take them prisoner and capture them. That's not how this works. It's not how deal making works. Okay? There's a big problem in this country, and Ronald Reagan, and I can't believe I'm quoting him because I don't like Ronald Reagan, but he once said, the way we make peace is we show strength through peace. So what that means is that we flex our muscles. Strength through peace. Or strength will get us to peace, or something like that. The point was that if we are strong, nobody will fuck with us, and thus we will have peace. Because our way of life is civilized compared to Iran, at least to their government's way of life. Okay, I'm not talking about the Iranian people. Okay, you can go to Iran, you can have a very nice life, but there is natural-born liberties in this country that the government has infringed upon in Iran. Now, who am I to nation build, to denounce them? But we are making deals with them now that are billions and billions of dollars. So we better make sure that we can go to sleep at night, okay, perfectly on our conscience that we are giving hundreds of billions of dollars to a country that has been devout to burning Israel off the map, to putting a mushroom cloud over Washington, D.C., and to just continuing to be the dicks they are. I mean, do we really think Iran is going to stop looking for a nuclear weapon? I don't know. You know, that was an encouraging sign that they gave up their enriched uranium. Would they give up at all? I don't know. You know, I don't think anybody really knows. But the fact that we gave up 6 prisoners today in exchange for the 4 of ours, and while I'm glad that they're home, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been brought home, I'm saying that they should have been brought home a long time ago, and it should have been part of the deal, and it shouldn't have been in exchange for more of their prisoners. Because something is fundamentally wrong when we are giving up more prisoners to get back ours after we've given them $150 billion in unfrozen assets, after we've lifted sanctions from them. There's something fundamentally wrong with our deal-making. And there's something fundamentally wrong with John Kerry's deal-making, the Obama administration's deal-making, the Clinton-era deal-making. There's something fundamentally wrong with this foreign policy plan that has been laid out over the past, 20 years, from Bush to Clinton to Bush to Obama to even to Reagan. There's something fundamentally wrong here. We need strength again, and this is not strength. Look, will Bernie Sanders be the strongest guy? I don't know. But maybe this is why Donald Trump is so popular. So for the last couple minutes of the show, before I span off into something else, I want to talk about the Republican debate and the whole New York values thing. So for anyone who doesn't know, I live in a small town called Leonia. Leonia is a small town in New Jersey, Bergen County, and right next to our town, actually right down the block from me, is this road called Fort Lee Road, and you drive up it, and Fort Lee Road takes you right to the George Washington Bridge. I do not exaggerate. I can be in New York City in 5 minutes. My record time in the city to where I was working was 15 minutes. So I have a very short commute, okay? I can take the ferry, the train, or drive. It's very simple. I go to my girlfriend's house and look out the window, and I see the Empire State Building because she lives right across the river from it. We are not far. I'm just trying to get that very clear. So I am in New York all the time, okay? Whether it's because I'm buying something I'm not supposed to be buying, or it's because I'm just trying to have a nice day, New York is a very, very close asset to where I live. And thus, when you make fun of New York, you make fun of the greater New York area, which is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. You make fun of the eastern side of this country. That's millions of people. Okay? That's like 40 million people. I mean, that's a lot of people. And if you're going to tell me that these New York values of abortion, loving abortion and gay marriage, as Ted Cruz is going to describe, is going to lump some me and New Yorkers, you're wrong. And it's kind of sick that Ted Cruz is going to say that. Yeah, like Rick said, we're in New Jersey. We're the sweaty armpit of New York and most of the country. But where I live, we are practically there. So, I mean, my aunt is a New Yorker. She lived there all her life. My sister lives in New York. New York values, let's just let Donald Trump explain it. Because for once, okay, Donald Trump made a statement that wasn't just inflammatory, wasn't just meant to get votes. I mean, I'm sure this was well rehearsed because he knew what he said, but there's just something a little more about this answer. So, but then I'm going to turn on Trump in the end after this. So let's just play this clip out.
I think most people know exactly what New York values are.
I am from New York.
What you're from New York, so you might not. But I promise you, in the state of South Carolina, they do. And listen, there are many, many wonderful, wonderful working men and women in the state of New York. But everyone understands that the values in New York City are socially liberal or pro-abortion or pro-gay marriage, focus around money and the media. And I guess I can frame it another way. Not a lot of conservatives come out of Manhattan. I'm just saying.
Conservatives actually do come out of Manhattan, including William F. Buckley and others, just so you understand. New York is a great place. It's got great people. It's got loving people, wonderful people. When the World Trade Center came down, I saw something that no place on earth could have handled more beautifully, more humanely than New York. You had two 110-story buildings come crashing down. I saw them come down. And we saw more death and even the smell of death. Nobody understood it. And it was with us for months, the smell, the air. And we rebuilt downtown Manhattan. And everybody in the world watched, and everybody in the world loved New York and loved New Yorkers. And I have to tell you, that was a very insulting statement that Ted made.
So, I actually last week was down by the World Trade Center, and it is beautiful there. They built this, they renovated the Willowbrook Mall, I believe it is, or the Brookfield Mall, Willowbrook. Brookfield Mall down there. They're building new subway stations. They're building everything down there. And it is a gentrified, beautiful area. And if you ever get to go to New York, I recommend you go there, pay your tributes, and get to enjoy the area. Problem is this, is when you say that this part of the country has certain values that only he represents, Ted Cruz, you're an idiot, okay? Look, yes, New York is a very wealthy area, but when you say all they care about is money, abortion, and gay marriage, you lump people together. I don't like that. I really don't. And Ted Cruz, if I could sum you up in a piece of word, in a couple words, is you're a piece of shit. And, you know, your values are the opposite, I guess, of my values. And if you want to call them New York values, fine. But you, you do not believe in any type of abortion or any woman's rights to choose. Now, I don't in some certain circumstances. I do in some cases. So, yeah, that is my values. Gay marriage, I agree with that, yeah. And the courts do too. And most of the country does. So that's not just New York's values. That's everywhere in the country's now value. Doesn't have to be yours personally, but hey, buddy, you know what? It's the law of the land. It's not going to change. Money is our values in New York? What do you mean by that? What do you mean money is the value in New York? Why? Because we're the finance capital. It's the finance capital of the world? No, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Would I say that, in Detroit, cars are their values. In the Dakotas, it's oil is their values. No. What? Do you say because most of the porn comes out of California that Californians just love porn? No, Ted Cruz, you're a piece of shit. And you want to abolish the IRS, dude? like, I get that you're a smart guy, but taking economics class, someone's still going to have to be collecting the information. You're still going to need an internal revenue service of some sort. You want to downsize it, fine, but at least be honest with the American people and stop selling them on this type of BS that you do. It's wrong, okay? It's just wrong. And then, you pretend to be a man of the people, but you're a Harvard, Princeton educated man who sounds like shit, and your wife works for Goldman Sachs. You've taken out loans that you misfiled, as you put it, for millions of dollars. You're a slimy fucking piece of shit, and I dislike you, and you will not be the next president, and God help if any candidate ever picks you to be vice president. But you know what? You can't even run for president because you weren't even born in this goddamn country. You're Canadian, okay? So, for the love of God, don't tell me about my values, New York's values, or anybody's values, because you're the type of person who I thought supported family values. And, you are just so incompetent and foolish, and you make absolutely no sense. But whatever. Why don't we just uniformly agree that we can support American values? And that is to love our country and, to support this country. Something that you seem to not do. But who does? Bernie Sanders. But anyways, I said I was going to bash Trump in the end because it turns out after investigation, he's only given $1,000 to the 9/11 First Responders Foundation. And when he was signed to support a bill giving money to the first responders, which was made famous by Jon Stewart, he didn't. And he gave $1,000 to a donation for them. My problem here is that practice what you preach. If you really supported the 9/11 first responders, you really smelled the smell of death, then $1,000 doesn't cut it. $1,000 might be a graduation gift to a rich senior. $1,000 is, in all reality, that's like buying them a very nice TV. $1,000 is giving 10 people, $100. It's not a lot of money. I mean, these people are dying from disease and lung cancer and the most gruesome diseases and illnesses and sicknesses, and $1,000 doesn't cut it. So if you're going to invoke 9/11 as the reason why New York is so great, and you're going to be the triumphant person standing in front leading the flag, at least practice what you preach. But to end the episode on the whole idea of practicing what you preach, the one person who has practiced what they preached was Bernie Sanders. Okay, just leaving it at that. And I just want to read what Rick always gives me some side comments on our chat here, and he's telling me how his mom is an American citizen, therefore he is. The same reason why Obama's birth certificate argument was so stupid. But the problem is that from my reading, Ted Cruz wasn't born here. He was born in another country. So if your argument is that you are...
Hang on. I can't let you do this anymore. Look.
Okay, Rick, go for it.
This is the same reason why the Obama birth certificate argument, whether he was born in Kenya or not, was freaking retarded. If one of your parents is an American citizen, then by birth you are an American citizen. This argument has been stupid since it was brought up with Obama. It's even more stupid to continue hearing it perpetuated now.
I don't know, because from my readings, you got to be born in this country, and I don't know how being in your mother's belly is being born here. How is that by birth?
The point is, you're talking about a very obscure change in writing between like 1790 and 1795, because they took out the word naturalized citizen. Nothing has changed. If you are an American citizen and you were an American citizen on the day you were born, you were eligible to be president. The reason that rule is in place is to keep people that immigrate and become citizens later from being able to be president. It doesn't have anything to do with it, the fact that if you were a citizen at the time that you were born, then you're eligible to be president, which is why from day one, I won't say day one, because for about 2 weeks I bought into the Obama BS argument. And then I did some research, and then I realized it really doesn't matter if he was born in Kenya or born in this country, because he would have been eligible to be president either way, because one of his parents is a citizen.
You know, we didn't get to debate that intensely on our show, and now it's 12, and damn it, Rick, damn it. But let's save this debate for next week. Fair?
Fair enough. We can talk about it on our show.
Sounds good. So anyways, I'm out for the day, but all I have to say is after reviewing this week in this political field, we've noted that Hillary Clinton is on a death turn, Donald Trump is on a upturn, Ted Cruz is about to go into the shitter with his face, and Bernie Sanders, well, you might just do it, my friend. So that's all I got for this week. Next week, obviously, you're going to hear Rick and I debate the merits of citizenship and Ted Cruz's citizenship. And I'm going to be having a guest on, and hopefully it's Carrie Wedley, the self-hating Jew who doesn't like Israel. And you will get to hear intense debate. And then you're also going to get to hear from Lloyd Kelso and how his presidential run is going. And then in the future, we're still hoping on Senator Perkins coming on. So that's all I got for now. Just so you guys know, come find us, come give us likes. We're almost at 10,000 likes, everybody, on Facebook. So come give us a like over on Facebook. That's Opinion Nation now. All right, we're not Opinion Nation News anymore. We're just Opinion Nation. Flow better with the name of our show. So go look up Opinion Nation on Facebook. You'll see our beautiful logo, and you will like our photo. You will like our photos. You'll like our page. Catch us on Twitter at OPN18 News. Follow me on Twitter at RobinsBryce. That's ROBINSBRYCE. And, you know, if you ever have any questions, want to be on the show, feel free to message us on Facebook, on Twitter, or just at our email at opnat.news@gmail.com. So always feel free to give us, an email, a contact. If you ever want to come on the show, please feel free. Because I have to say, we have been active or more active on social media, and so have you. We've had comments from Kill Obama to I Heart Bernie, and one person saying they wanted to get Bernie Sanders tattooed on their shirt, on their chest, and then get a shirt to match the tattoo. So when they took it off, it would still be the same. I don't know why people waste their time sometimes writing these things, but I thought that one was kind of weird and stuck out to me. But anyways. All of you have a wonderful week. I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation. And don't forget to catch us as well on our new hours as well. Okay, so we're not moving, but we're adding hours to the show. So go catch us on Tuesdays now at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, you're going to get to wind down with some Bryce during prime time. But the whole objective here is to show that liberals aren't just tree-hugging pussycats, okay? Teddy Roosevelt was a liberal. I'm a liberal.
Damn tree-hugging hippies.
I think on that note, we should end the show. So have a great week, everybody. Can't wait to see you. We're going to start doing live tapings, not this week, but next Tuesday, okay? So this is probably going to be played this Tuesday. The following Tuesday, we're going to have a late-night show. Have a great break, everybody. See you then.
Welcome to Opinion Nation.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.